who are not proud of who they are.
Yes.
And I will use even a tougher word. They have suffer from identity poverty.
Yes.
Remember, I said language is a carrier of culture. So if the language dies, the culture dies. Kama fulani alisema sisi ni nani
Isakuwa.
Yes.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
And in studio with me is an amazing lady, and her name is Grace Njeru, the Associate Director, Advocacy and Alliance Building, that is SEAL. And we're talking about mother tongue or mother language today. Karibu sana.
Asante sana Anunda. Thank you for having me.
Hey.
I'm happy to be here today on this special day.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
Hata wewe Waswahili wanasema ukiona cha mwenzako chanolewa?
Chako kitie maji.
Kitie maji.
Yeah.
Haya tukunywe pia.
Good. So John 3:16.
John 3:16. Let's go. Which language? Which mother tongue are you representing?
Kichuka, which is part of Meru. I'm from the Meru community. So my language is Gichuka.
Are you serious?
Wasa
wana.
Yes.
Gizuka za Kimeru, Gizuka kuna gani ingine tena?
There's no language called Kimeru.
Kimeru hakuna?
No, that's a community, and within Meru we have Dharaka, we have Gichuka, Imenti, Gichogoria.
You kidding
Igoji.
me?
Yeah.
Wasa mzezo wana.
You better believe me.
I want to believe you wana.
Yes, you better.
Okay, yes. That's new. I'm just getting to know that right now.
Yes, we learn every day.
So there's no language like Atimia Amerian.
If I tell you Meru, that's my community. That's very ambiguous because I can either be speaking Imenti, Tharaka, Igoji, Chogoria, Igembe. Yes.
Wait, so those they speak different. They're different from each other.
We are interrelated in terms of there is a way we hear each other.
Yes.
But don't mistake that because some of the words really mean
something
the exact
different.
Opposite. Can I give you a good example?
Please do.
For example, if I said Ndemorowaru,
Mgonjwa.
Yes, I am sick.
Yes.
But if you said that to somebody from another part of Meru,
it's crazy or what?
You're saying like you're a green banana. You know that long sweet, it's a banana, it can get ripe. That is a Morowaru. Yes. If I say Nemenda kodhienja, I want to go out.
Yes.
But if you say that to somebody else from another part of Meru, I am going home. Nja is
outside.
Yes.
Home.
Yes. Netanja. That's Kimenti.
My lord.
Yes, so you better make that distinction.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether it's the same for other language communities, but for Meru, that I am sure.
There is, I've heard from the Kamba community that those from Kitui,
yes,
and those from Konza, anasikiliza from Konza, wanasema mtu anaweza sema neno fulani huyu akasikia kama na mtusi.
Yes,
hajamheshimu.
Yeah, so it's good to give that disclaimer so that you know where the context. Yes.
All right.
So when I say John 3:16, then I'll be saying in Kichuka.
From Kichuka.
Although I have a bit of influence from Kikuyu because the first Bible we interacted with as the Chuka mainly is the Kikuyu translation. But thankfully, due to the efforts that have been going on over the years, we are now having a Chuka Bible coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't wait to read my Bible in my own tongue. So John 3:16
in Chuka.
Nontwaburea Jesu endire kirindi kionthe agituba mwana wake wa mumwe nikenda muntu wonde omwitikitie ati kaure no agie na moyo wa tene na tene.
Amen.
Yes.
Tene na tene. Hii tene inakuaga kote. Tene is in Kikamba, is in Kikuyu, in Chuka now.
Eastern Bantus. We have some connection.
Wow.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We also have the other one, John 11:35. Jesus wept.
Yes. Na Jesu akirira.
Hii korera inalera ikira bahari wana. Wakisiwa wanalera, Wakikuyu wanalera, Wabantu wote
tunalera.
Those ones who are not leraing the Luo.
They better tell us what they are doing.
Aiya. Okay, even kama wasema aiya. Nini aiya?
Yeah.
Sindio. So it's closely
very close.
related.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Just briefly introduce yourself to us.
Okay, thank you, Anunda, for having me.
Welcome.
My name is Grace Njeru, and I can use my Chuka name now that it's International Mother Language Day.
Yes.
So my name is Grace Njeru.
Grace Njeru.
Yes. I am a language and education specialist, mambo ya lugha na masomo, and I work with an organization called SIL. In a department called Alliance and Advocacy Building.
Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
We are celebrating Mother Language Day today. And what does International Mother Language Day mean to you as a person?
International Mother Language Day to me is very special. And it is special in the sense that the realization that actually somebody sat somewhere and realized that it is really important for us to celebrate our linguistic diversity and also to appreciate the different cultures around the world. So for me, I take that as an opportunity just to let people know that they need to be proud of their language. And I lead by example. I am very proud of mine. Yes.
Me too.
Yes, good.
Me too, because when I was growing up, I just said the other just a few minutes ago, as I was growing up, I used to be afraid of identifying myself from the Kisii community because there was these perceptions and sasa mtoto anakuja kwamba tuwe ni Mkisii mnakuranga watu. I'm like I don't want to associate myself with that.
I know.
So nikakuwa na thick skin.
It is what it is.
It is hata ukicheza nitakukula. So from that moment kids started being afraid of me, and I gained the confidence that now this is who I am, this is where I come from. Every community is there's some myths or misconceptions about those communities. And unless we embrace the community and demystify the same, then we'll remain in the same cocoon.
I totally agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very important. So why is it important to preserve and promote mother languages?
It's very important for us to preserve and also acknowledge the mother languages we have, because as we all know, and you have mentioned it yourself, that we come from different places. We didn't choose to be there.
Absolutely.
But there is a reason why we are there. And there are things that I know you can are best expressed in your mother tongue that you would find it very difficult to say in English, Swahili, in French. It wouldn't bring the same meaning.
Yes.
And another thing is that language gives us identity. And we always say that language is a carrier of culture. Question has always been asked, how do you destroy a people? And the answer is, you take away their culture. And how do you take away their culture? You take away their language, which is their identity. So like people who are not proud of who they are, they have no identity, and they are not proud of their identity.
Please say that again.
Yes, people who are not proud of who they are.
Yes.
And I will use even a tougher word. They have suffer from identity poverty.
Yes.
And that's why you hear, like, if you go to a place and somebody speaks to you in your mother tongue, it doesn't matter if you are able to speak it. You want to pretend that you can't speak, because as you said in your situation, and I like you're using your example, you are scared to be identified as a Kisii. So can you imagine losing your identity because you're not using your language? The other thing why we need to preserve these languages is that if we don't preserve them, they will die. And remember, I said language is a carrier of culture. So if the language dies, the culture dies with it. Unfortunately, a lot of our languages, although we have organizations, including mine, that are working so hard to preserve these languages, if there is a lot of information that the older generation has, but they can only express it in the local languages. And unfortunately, most of these local languages are not in written form. So mzee akipumzika leo anaenda na ujuzi yake yote, and we are left with a void. Yet we could really tap into all this rich knowledge by preserving these languages. Another thing I would say is that there is a way the mother language hits home.
Very true.
There is like a place in a donjo somewhere in the heart, and even it's Ngugi wa Thiong'o who said, if you speak to a man in a language he understands, the information goes to the head. But if you speak to him in his own language, the information
goes to
to the heart. And what my teacher taught me when I was in school, for any change to happen to a human being, the information they have has to go to the heart for change to happen. So if this information remains in the head, we will not see the positive change that we always want to see in our lives.
I totally agree with you. I know my brother is listening right here. Nata alipiga simu hapa kaongea na lugha yake ya mama. And there's a way when you listen to a prayer in your mother tongue, ukienda ushago, mama anakuombea ukitoka ukisafiri, unajua you have to get to Nairobi safe, no matter the circumstances.
And not just that. Actually, I always say, if you've never found yourself praying in your mother tongue, then you have a long way to go. But there is a way that if you really want God to hear, you just speak in that mother tongue. And then you feel like you're really communicating as you say that. And also, they have proverbs and also sayings that are in the mother tongue that really teach us morals and values. If these things are said in other languages, they don't carry the same weight. That they carry when we say them in their mother tongue. So and another one of the thing now being in the development space in terms of work, if I feel that we are really doing a disservice to people in local communities when we pass information to them in languages they don't understand. For example, imagine the Kenyan Constitution in English, and or whatever we are supposed to be doing public participation, but the documents are in languages that people don't understand. Those people, the best they can do is nod their heads and agree to what some of us are saying without really knowing, interrogating the content of these things.
That's why tunakuja kusema ametusomea.
Alitusomea na kama fulani alisema
Isakuwa.
Yes.
Oh Lord. We're talking about mother tongue. Mother tongue yako ni gani? First, do you even know mother tongue? You know the parents who say that mimi watoto wangu sitaki wajue lugha ya mama kwa sababu I don't want them to be tribal. Because if they know this language, I want them to be tribe-all. What do you take about that?
I think that is something that needs to be corrected as quickly as we can. Because remember when I told you about identity?
Yes.
So a person who is really proud of where they are and appreciates their uniqueness in terms of language and culture, then it is very easy for them to appreciate the other person and also respect them. And the next thing that we will be seeing between those two people is wanting to learn from each other. Like that now, Anunda, if I was to spend another hour with you here, I would really want to know your culture, know more about you, teach me how do you greet. And so I wouldn't feel like I am pulled away from you because we are different, but I will want now to have unity in diversity, what we call that. But first, it must start by you being proud of who you are and appreciating that. And then you can now appreciate the other person and respect them for who you are. This issue of tribalism is caused by other things that can be discussed elsewhere if we are sincere with ourselves. But then also another thing I would like to say that knowing and mastering your mother language does not stop you from becoming a multilingual. A multilingual is a person who speaks even 1 million languages. Actually what it does, it just sets a strong foundation. Research has shown that people who have really mastered their first languages, whatever language it is, then they have capacity to load on into their brains a lot of other language and they become multilingual. So there is no way you can say that learning your language stops you from learning other languages. In fact, I would encourage people to make sure they are very good at it so that they pick others. The problem we have, unashika hii kidogo, inakuwa madhogodhanio kwa akili. So just be good at one and then the next it will be very easy to learn. And can I just digress a little and talk about learning? I don't know whether you are advantaged like I was to learn in my mother tongue when I joined school.
I wasn't.
Sorry. I feel so sorry for you because you missed a lot.
Me too.
Now, the easiest thing to learn and to teach a child, actually in teacher training, it's called pedagogy, the teaching methodology for children. You're supposed to teach from the known to the unknown. Now here is Anunda's daughter who is joining nursery school, kindergarten. And let's assume you are from Nyasiongo.
Yeah, Nyasiongo.
At least I know Nyasiongo.
At least you...
So you have lived in Nyasiongo, that child, the mother spoke to them in Kikisi, and that's all they know, and they are playing. Then you take them to an academy in town, and because it's an academy, they are taught in English, they speak in English.
Boazana.
There is a big building. This is a no mother tongue speaking area. And here is Kerubo Anunda, who only knows Kikisi. So you enter class, the first thing said to them is how to greet in English. So you are teaching them new concepts with a new language. That's why Kerubo will be crying every morning you wake them up to go to school, because to them it's stressful. But can you imagine if you taught them in Kikisi, but taught now like English as a subject, so that you introduce those technical terminologies in English, that child will love school.
Absolutely.
Yes, so that's what I would say.
That is wonderful. Now, you just mentioned it in a bit. There are people who say, Mimi, I don't know, Mimi sijui koyo sielewi. Anaambia okay, zungumza Kiswahili. Hata Kiswahili haelewi, hajui. Kizungu hakuna kitu.
Can I tell you a joke I read somewhere of a lady who was hosting visitors, and because they came from the same community, she was introducing them to her children. So this visitor greets the child in their mother tongue, and the mother is very quick to interject, huyo ajui mother tongue. And within a very short time, the mother switches on the TV and the child goes, Mom, TV, she is crying. Now that is a child who knows English. Tunaita madogodhanio.
Aibu sana. Now, because of time, we have some, are there any languages that are at the verge of extinction, especially in Kenya?
Yeah. There are languages, and most of them are those that have fewer speakers. Like I would give an example of a language like the Ogiek. Yes, but I think that is being sorted because Bible translation is doing something there, and so they are preserving. You know that one of you almost run to catch those old people who have that knowledge before their days, their sunset days, so that you so that you have them put in written form, because it's the only way we can so the language that comes to mind, there are many, but right now the one that comes to my mind, the
Ogiek community. So it is important to
El Moro also, I had forgotten. There is El Moro,
and I've heard also part of the Suba, a bit of the Suba community language inapotea na mezo na the Luo.
Yet you know the Subas are Bantus. They're not Nilots.
By the way.
Yes. But I'm glad. I think people need to know some of these things that are happening, because the Subas, as far as I know, have a Bible now in their language, and they have some literacy materials in their language. So guys just need to look out and get hold of those.
There's a difference between the Suba and the Kuria.
Yes.
Those are two different communities.
Wakuria ni relatives wenu.
Hao tunawasikia vizuri sana. And though they talk with wanavuruta maneno as if they're singing, there's a lot of we sing also. But they sing better.
Okay. All right.
The Kuria. Very, very interesting right there. Now, what are some of the unique words or phrases in your mother language that you don't translate into, other languages? Probably not for you. Izile ambazo unasema, hii ni ngumu translate kwa either Kiswahili or English.
Okay.
Or even in terms of expression.
Okay. Like when I'm in shock, when I have like something I didn't expect it to happen, the way I would just say that exclamation, it comes out deeper when Tambanteto. Yes, as in like Ebu, tell me exactly what this is all about. So you can imagine if I said in English, tell me about it more. That sounds like okay. But now Tambanteto is that one you even have to vuruta kitu na ukae vizuri
usikilize
so that it sings. Okay. So
I think for us it is obe. Where? That's you're in yeah.
Yes.
See?
You see? Yeah.
All right, that's so interesting. Now, finally, as we pull the curtains down, I wish we had more time to have this conversation, but how can parents encourage their children to learn and use their native languages?
Good. Yeah, one thing I would advise for parents is to make sure that you use that a lot. You use the mother tongue commonly in the home, in the natural environment, and also correct the fact that, because I have noted one thing that normally happens is that we speak to our children in the second and third languages, which is English and Kiswahili, on a normal day when we are happy, when we are out there. But if this child makes a mistake, then you reprimand them in mother tongue. So this already creates a negative attitude in the head of this child, that mother tongue is used for makelele and blasting. So take time with your children, and you can even share their old stories that have values, share with them orally. And then as time goes by, because we have different authors who are working hard at writing even children's stories in these languages, then read those stories to them. And you can tell them the words in the language that they use, maybe English, and tell them this is how you say it in our mother tongue. So you see, it's like you are transitioning them back from English to their mother tongue.
Probably the last one. How about a family where the two parents don't come from the same community?
So good question. Where the parents don't come from the same community, then the household can agree. Let me not speak for my fellow Achuka, but for the Chuka, it is almost obvious that they will speak the father's language. But it's not common for everybody. So in this case, then, that language that the mother spoke to that child, it's very rare you find a mother who spoke to the child Kiswahili from day one. Wachana na watu wa mtaa. Tunaongea sasa watu wa mashinani. So that is the language that now, if they are picking one language, remember the disclaimer I gave, the one you're picking, make sure you're extremely good with it. But again, remember, when you're wishing away your language and picking another person's language, remember you're also picking their culture. So kuna vitu naona huku tunalaumu shetani, saa zingine nataka kusema sisi we are to blame, because the things that we are pushing is the culture that comes with that language.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Salamu unatumia nani?
Oh, and I hope he's listening. Kuna Muluya rafiki yangu.
Muluya,
one of my mentees.
Yes.
Aliposikia nakuja studio aliniambia, na uhakikishe umenitumia salamu. Sasa one Brian Sifuna. Pokea salamu. I wish I could say it in Luya. Because sitaki kwenda na deni ya mtu nyumbani. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Shukrani sana. Kongoi missing. Niwega mono. Na mvera.
Mbuya mono.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
96.9 FM. Pearl Radio.